Hey guys, today here I have my first R5 Doom War. I also took, House of X to R4 for this war. So, two new rank ups getting used. Pretty fun war today, at least for me. New R5 Doom is really exciting. I'm very happy I got that Mystic Gem. And yeah, this man thing is a rank 3, so, gonna be kind of a joke, especially since, I'm punching down 2 ranks instead of just 1 rank, so that's a little bit ridiculous. But yeah, our plan is to just spam L3s. Same plan I do for most of these Path 5 fights. I really think, just spamming L3s makes most of these fights super simple. And, when you have a champ that's so safe like Doom, simplicity is really all you need. And yeah, there we go. First L3 does a ridiculous amount of damage. I only had a 150% on for this war, by the way, so if I had a 200%, I probably would have just had back-to-back L3s there without even needing to do another parry. So that's ridiculous. But yeah, this man thing, dead, just like that. Very easy fight, R5 Doom. I'm really feeling the combat power rate with the R5 and everything, and the extra attack helps a lot for Mystic boosts. I'm really feeling the R5 Doom, and of course, extra health is always nice. So next up, we just have Note 11 Peni with House of X. Yeah, this fight is very easy. As well, we basically just do parry heavy and throw L1s. Hits during passive stuns will not be auto-blocked. And yeah, not much to really say about this fight. But yeah, just an update. I am feeling a little bit worse, but, being productive now, so just making it through the rest of the season, and then hopefully the off season will be a nice chill, and yeah. But yeah, this fight, as you can see, it's going down very smoothly. House of X does a really strong amount of damage. Heavy hitter is really obnoxious. I always hate that node, and Penny's AI is doing what Penny's AI always does. But yeah, fight's over. Pretty smooth. Now we've got this Doom on 19. I've taken this before, so not much to say here. But yeah, with an R5, it's definitely going to let me save a lot of boosts. By being able to use 150s instead of 200. That really can make a huge difference, because the 200%, if you end up having to buy them for units, are way more expensive. So yeah, that's going to be really nice. Punching down ranks, of course, you want to, 150 basically acts as a 200 would, so that's nice. And yeah. This damn fight, I really like this placement. I think, currently it's probably the best placement for Doom, I would say. Just because I don't think Doom is the hardest defender in the game right now. But this is one of those placements where there's just no obvious counter. And fights like that can really trip people up. So I like a lot of these placements where there's just not an obvious counter unless, you have someone who's really good with one of these generic champs. The best two counters for this Doom are generally, like, Doom and Kitty. And, Kitty's always banned against us, so I think this is a really solid placement. You do have Negs, who does well for this, and Scorpion with the Venom synergy, just never knocking down, that does well for this, and Nick Fury can work, as well. So there are other options. This is just one of those placements where there's no obvious, easy option, and, placements like that are really what the war meta right now is mainly about, just because it's a fairly generic meta, so, placements like that end up being strong. Here, Doom ends up throwing his L2 into my block. I take a lot of block damage. No big deal. We're just gonna end the fight now. It's a potion, but, of course, blocking an L2 is perfectly fine. We're still above 80% health, which is just a testament to how tanky Doom is, and the fight is over at this point. And yeah. Next up, we have a Node 25 King Groot. This was probably the fight I was most worried about. But I came up with a plan that the power stings, because to not worry too much about the power stings being a debuff, since, with unsteady ground, they can actually cause you to glance. So yeah, this was definitely the fight that had me the most worried. I knew it was probably going to be very hard to die, but I just thought this fight was going to be a little bit of a mess. But my plan ended up working rather smoothly, actually. It was a lot better than I was expecting it to go. And yeah, this fight went really well. So I was happy with that. And yeah, for the start, I'm just doing combos. No special ones, no special twos. I don't want, any chance of, accidentally, switching him back and forth between bars, giving too many power slings. As you can see here, there's a lot of debuffs from this node, especially with power snacks. So that's the why this is placed here. Again, I think this is a pretty solid placement. But yeah, this one definitely forced me to think a little bit. And here, this was the amount of power I was hoping to be throwing my L3 at, because I knew I wouldn't give him a power sting after my L3, and the L3 would eat the power sting from that bug. We're actually using that bug that's normally really annoying to our advantage in this situation, and with all of these nullifies, we're at a really good position, and we just go for another L3. This one will interact with Power Sting, so the plan is to just do light combos after my L3 because the lights do not give power. And yeah, this one went really, really well. I was very happy with how this fight went. I was not expecting it to go nearly this well. I was definitely expecting this fight to just be a complete mess. But for Doom to just solo anyway. But it ended up being, very smooth. I got the lineup perfectly, and that was nice. This Negs fight, pretty simple. We just intercept and nuke down. I'm gonna parry Negs a bunch. I know, you shouldn't parry Negs, whatever. It's good practice to not do so. But I'm very comfortable with it, and it is Nick Fury, so I have a massive safety net, so I think it's perfectly fine to do so. To just allow me to speed the fight up a bunch. And personally, I'm more comfortable with that. If you prefer to not parry Negs, then do that. And if you bait L2s with this, he's not gonna reverse controls for the L2, so that's why we're doing that. And yeah, I mean, you can do the fight differently if you want. This is how I went about it, and it was very easy, so gets the job done. Then Gore on 37. This is another just spam L3 fights. We're gonna have a lot of Mystic Dispersion powers, so that's gonna be very nice. And yeah, the start of the fight is a little bit annoying. The start of the fight is always the tricky part for Doom versus Gore, just because there's so much going on. There's so many debuffs. There's so much Mystic Dispersion power. It's just always a little bit chaotic. So it's just about, keeping calm during the start of the fight. And if you can do that, you're probably going to be fine. And yeah, at this point, we're pretty much good. Here, I make a really dumb mistake. I didn't think I had thrown a fourth light there, but I did throw a fourth light into block. Definitely on me. Just wasn't paying enough attention. Doesn't matter, because Doom is Doom. But yeah, fight is now over, since we've got our L3s going. And this node is just, very easy placement for Gore. Definitely not where I would place Gore. I think he's currently one of the hardest defenders in the war meta, so placing him on a node as simple as this is a little bit of a mistake in my opinion. But yeah. I get why it was done, because most of the neutralizers are reliant on debuffs, like Wiccan, Tigra, Rintra, but, Hood or Doom just make this too easy in my opinion. So yeah. Or Simstop even. And yeah, next up we have a Mangog on 39. This one's very easy as well. We're just spamming L3s till he dies. Yeah. Now, Mangog, in my opinion, he's one of the easier of these Mystic placements that happen on Intercept. So my assumption is that they just wanted to place a Mystic here, but they didn't want to use one of the actually strong Mystic defenders, which makes sense. Because Mangog really doesn't have many strong nodes, and they did not ban Spider 99, so they were not going to place him on 54 probably. But yeah, we're just taking it with Doom. Doom does his thing, and yeah. Yeah, he's being a little passive here, which is a little bit annoying. Doesn't really matter if the Fury did fall off, but it is just, you know, a little bit annoying to have some risk of that. We ended up getting the double Fury, though, so that's nice. And, yeah. The L3 bug with ebb and flow right now kind of just makes these nodes, a lot weaker than they normally would be. You know, all of these fights that I'm doing are fights that I would, you know, take regardless of the ebb and flow bug. Some of them would just be a little bit slower. But yeah, it's definitely leading to people placing easier Path 5 fights than usual. So yeah. Next up, we have a Punisher 99 on Safeguard. This is just Cycle L1s and L2s with Doom, and it'll be over relatively quickly. Oh, and I was taking all 10 of my fights in one go this war. The little pauses you see between fights are just me getting my head straight after each fight, you know? But yeah, these were all taken in one go thanks to energy refills. The energy refills are very nice, and, you know, they definitely help a lot. Being able to get done with war early is a great feeling. Definitely do not miss clearing, like, at night or after dinner. Really just not a fun time, when you have to do that. So the war energy refills helps a lot with that, and yeah, I've been really enjoying that. And yeah, this P99 going down pretty smoothly. You know, we want to make sure we get this dagger up for the 15% regen. Not the end of the world if it does stick, we can just throw in a 1, but if we can stagger it, that just means, you know, that he will never be unblockable, which is nice. If he was unblockable, I'm sure we could eat basically anything from Punisher 99 and live with Doom, so again, not a big deal. But yeah, as you can see here, Doom clears this fight really easily. We do stagger the regen, and yeah, we're building up to our final L2 to just end this fight like that. And yeah. Now we've got a Quicksilver and a Chavez on 53 and 55. These are both just Nick Fury fights. I went with half suies for the Quicksilver just because I knew I was going to take a lot of chip damage from the Whiplash. That's the reason this is placed here. It's basically just, you can't really clear the Whiplash with parries here. So it's basically just a chip damage fight. There's a lot of counters. Nick is definitely the best in my opinion, just because, you know, if there's one champion that doesn't really care about chip damage, it's definitely Nick Fury. So, yeah. Yeah, here we're just trying to get openings. We get that evade. We're in a good position to just continue comboing from the evade, which is nice. Then we're just ready to end the fight here. I believe we do a combo into an L2 and end it like that. Yep. And yeah, that fight's over. Pretty smooth. And yeah, finally we have the Chavez fights. A pretty easy fight. We're gonna switch on to full for this. We're gonna pop an invuln just so we can tank the L3 if we need to. We have a House of X, which is nice as well. Just making this fight as easy as possible. And yeah, healing back up to full, popping on half suies. And, you know, it's a Chavez with Nick. We want to pay attention to, like, the phases. We don't want her getting an unblockable L2, but I'm very good at fighting Chavez and keeping control of her phases, so I'm, you know, very comfortable with that, not too worried about it. And yeah. This war, was a pretty fun time getting to use the R5 Doom. 10 fights all went, relatively smoothly. Always nice to see that, and yeah. I'm really excited to keep using the R5 Nick, and I did end up taking, Diablo and Reed, both the R4 Sig 200, because they are subdue, and they have the Doom synergies, so next season, I'm sure I'll be using, Doom, Reed, Diablo Trinities a bunch, and I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, thank you to my Patreon supporters, Mega, OG Highline, and Sydney Dunny. It helps out the channel a bunch. Take care, guys.